Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Pretty decent day here, even though it was kind of raining. It wasn't cold out, and it just was nice to be able to not freeze. But anyway, I got some things done. Had my windshield washing mechanism cleared out because apparently there was something stuck in one of the hoses, you know, that goes to the squirter there on the hood. And they just blew it out, I guess, or something. I don't know how they did it, but it's one of them funny setups where the hoses are like in between the layers in the hood, and you have to pull off the inner layer to get to the hose itself, and I just didn't have the right tools to be able to do that myself. But the thing is they had the right equipment to be able to blow forced air through the hose to force out what the hell was in there. I don't know what was in there, to be honest. But you know, it could have been dirt or something. I mean, the truck's 10 years old, so it's got 10 years worth of wear and tear on it, so I'm sure, you know, things are going to crop up on it from time to time now. So anyway, got that done. Didn't cost me much. Got a couple of items, videos to play for you today, and you know, it's kind of upsetting. You know, I guess, you know, the way things are. And one of those, I think, in this video here, and it's from Ben Mysalis, is that. Sorry, here I got pages here and stuff I'm going over here. Ben Mysalis is talking about how Trump had got a bunch of Venezuelans, like over 200 and some odd Venezuelans, all on airplanes sent to Venezuela. No, I'm sorry, let me say that again. 200 and some odd Venezuelans deported out of the United States to El Salvador. Okay, that's where they went, El Salvador, where Trump, I guess the claim, the alleged crime that these people had were they were gang members, okay? And I'm saying alleged because they didn't have due process, none of these people, so none of that was proven. These people could have been anybody, you know, we don't know. And you know, we're just taking Trump's word for it that all these people that were rounded up were gangsters, okay, and they were criminals and deported to El Salvador. But because they didn't go through the system, you know, due process, you know, the ACLU was trying to go after the administration for, you know, illegally removing these people. Now, Trump says, well, you know, he declared these people as what do they call them, war combatants or something like that. We're at war with Venezuela, okay, and that gave him the right to just grab these people off the street and bring them, okay. He's just saying, fuck the rules, I don't give a fuck about due process, these people are going and that's it, you know, okay, that's his idea. And that's basically the same kind of mentality you would hear from anyone that supports Trump. It's, you know, fuck the rules, fuck the law, we do what we want, you don't like it, you can get the hell out of America, okay? You know, all these MAGA people are a bunch of imperialists. That's all they are. So anyway, Ben's going to talk about that, and then we'll go, when it's over, we'll just discuss it a little bit on the other side. So here we go.
And Donald Trump declared that there was essentially a war taking place between Venezuela and the United States via Venezuelan gangs, such that Donald Trump invoked special war powers under the Alien Enemies Act, where Donald Trump said anybody who he declares to be a gang member in Venezuela will not receive due process, and he will send them wherever he wants to send them. This was challenged in the federal courts. A federal judge, Judge Boasberg in Washington, D.C., issued an emergency order over the weekend stopping Donald Trump from just unilaterally deporting people or doing whatever he wants with people without due process. And it appears that Donald Trump has ignored and violated that court order. I'll give you these statements from the Trump regime and I'll let you decide for yourself. But Donald Trump took a group of Venezuelans who Donald Trump claims are gang members, and he sent them to El Salvador to go to concentration camps in El Salvador. Here's the headline from the New York Post when the federal judge made this order, and then the president of El Salvador, who rules El Salvador like a dictator, he posts all of these propaganda videos, and he's very close with the Trump regime. He goes, oopsies, too late. So the New York Post headline right after the federal judge ruled was, federal judge orders deportation flights carrying alleged Venezuelan gangbangers to return to U.S., blocks Trump from invoking the Alien Enemies Act. Then President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador goes, oopsie, too late. You can see the photograph of here of these migrants who Donald Trump claims, one, to be migrants and two, to be gang members. As this account, Beck Hamilton, explains, it is important to be very clear. The people you see in this photo have not had any due process whatsoever between being uprooted from their lives and families in the U.S. and finding themselves now in these concentration prisons in El Salvador. As Aaron Reichlin Melnick says, people on the flight sent to El Salvador had zero opportunity to contest the government's evidence, claiming that they are gang members or claiming that they are foreign combatants. Many of these individuals said they were falsely accused of belonging to Tren de Aragua gang. One person had a hearing set for today on Monday. There was no due process at all. Let me be very clear. Gang members in the United States should have the book thrown at them. I am a law and order person. I do not want gang members roaming the streets. Let's be clear, the Department of Justice has authority to go after gangbangers, gang members. You don't need to declare that there's a phony war taking place to declare war powers under the Alien Enemies Act, which has only been utilized in the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II, and has a very dark history of imposing concentration camp-like conditions on people, like we saw with the Japanese internment camps in World War II. Now, here's what Secretary Marco Rubio said to President Bukele of El Salvador after it appeared that after the federal court order blocking these deportations from happening, the Trump regime went about it anyway. Marco Rubio goes, "Thank you for your assistance and friendship, President Bukele. Let me share with you the statement from Caroline Levitt, the chief propagandist from the Trump regime. Here she responds to allegations that the Trump regime violated the federal order by not turning the deportation flights around. Here's what she says, quote, "The administration did not refuse to comply with a court order. The order, which had no lawful basis, was issued after terrorist TDA aliens had already been removed from U.S. territory. The written order and the administration's actions do not conflict. Moreover, as the Supreme Court has repeatedly made clear, federal courts generally have no jurisdiction over the president's conduct of foreign affairs, his authorities under the Alien Enemies Act, and his core Article 2 powers to remove foreign alien terrorists from the U.S. soil and repel a declared invasion. A single judge in a single city cannot direct the movement of an aircraft carrier full of foreign alien terrorists who were physically expelled from U.S. soil, as Aaron Melnick explains. Setting aside the false claim here that the order had no lawful basis by the federal judge blocking these deportations under Trump's declaration that a war is taking place, and the lie that the Supreme Court has ever said the president can remove anyone without due process, it's kind of hilarious that Caroline Leavitt thinks an aircraft carrier is the same thing as an airplane. I want to share this with you as well because facts matter. Someone responded to Aaron Melnick and said, due process does not apply to foreign combatants, as these individuals are foreign combatants in this war that Donald Trump is saying exist right now. Aaron goes, said so confidently and yet so incorrectly. Remember, even accused Al-Qaeda terrorists held at Guantanamo Bay have due process and must be tried under the laws of the United States, right? Here is the case, Hamdan versus Rumsfeld. Take a look at it right here. It was a 5-3 decision for Salim Ahmed Hamdan. The Supreme Court, in a 5-3 decision authored by Justice John Paul Stevens, held that neither an act of Congress nor the inherent powers of the executive laid out in the Constitution expressly authorize the sort of military commission at issue in this case. Absent that express authorization, the commission had to comply with the ordinary laws of the United States and the laws of war. The Geneva Convention, as part of the ordinary laws of war, could therefore be enforced by the Supreme Court, along with the statutory Uniform Code of Military Justice. Hamdan's exclusion from certain parts of his trial, deemed classified by the Military Commission, violated both of these, and the trial was therefore illegal. Justices Scalia, Thomas, and Alito dissented. Chief Justice John Roberts, who participated in the case while serving on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, did not take part in the decision. In the Hamdan case, there was even a military commission, and that process was deemed to be unconstitutional. Here, Donald Trump is just declaring by fiat that these individuals belong to a gang, and then he's sending them to El Salvador and putting them in concentration camps without their ability to say, I'm not part of the gang, or I haven't committed these crimes, or I have committed these crimes. Again, I want to be very clear. If they committed crimes, justice needs to be served and served swiftly. But there is a process in these United States of America where people who are accused of crimes go through a process that we call due process. And if they are found guilty, throw the frickin' book at them. But we are a nation of laws, not Donald Trump saying, I'm putting people in concentration camps in El Salvador and then making propaganda videos where people's heads are being shaved and they're literally being thrown in concentration camps like you would see in authoritarian regimes. Here's what the Trump regime is claiming, that there were 261 illegal aliens deported to El Salvador, Venezuelans going to El Salvador. They claim 137 of these were via the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. 101 were Venezuelans removed via Title 8. 21 were Salvadoran MS-13 gang members. 2 were special cases for El Salvador. Bukele posted that the U.S. returned 2 MS-13 ringleaders to El Salvador. Some of the rap sheets for those removed include the following. This is the claim of what they are. But again, we have a nation of laws. These things need to be tested. What happens if they just claim, as Donald Trump does? Look at the other executive order that he made. So, invocation of the Alien Enemies Act. What was the other executive order? Addressing the risks from Paul Weiss. March 14, 2025. So Donald Trump's doing executive orders threatening and attacking law firms he doesn't like because they've hired special counsel Jack Smith before, or they've hired lawyers. Donald Trump doesn't work. So what's stopping Donald Trump from claiming anybody is a gang member or that he doesn't like and sending people off to El Salvador? I want to show you the regime propaganda video. It's horrifying of what it looks like with the people going to El Salvador. And again, I have no compassion. I have no desire to be, say nice things about bad people. I just believe in due process, as did the Supreme Court in that 5-3 Hamdan decision that I read you. I want to talk about El Salvador quickly, then I want to show you this video. I want to give you all of the data. So El Salvador's entire GDP of El Salvador, who Marco Rubio's like, El Salvador so strong. Their entire GDP for the year, about $34 billion, as compared to the United States GDP of $30.34 trillion. El Salvador's poverty rate stands at 27.2%, with 18.4% of people in El Salvador living in relative poverty, and 8.8% of the population is in extreme poverty. Okay. That's, by the way, what the Trump regime wants America to look like. And with their Project 2025 agenda, by firing all these people, taking people off Medicaid, destroying these programs and destroying lives, you see how they try to model things off of El Salvador or Argentina with Javier Milei, where he's cutting people's pensions and throwing people on the street and having people live in extreme poverty right there. So that's the model. And I say this because El Salvador, why do they like it? They like it because this president, Bukele, does these propaganda videos. And here's the one that they did. So here are the people, the Venezuelans, who were taken from the United States, not given due process, not going in front of a commission, just taken. And here's the video of them. And a lot of these people are saying, we're not part of the gangs. We didn't commit crimes. And imagine if just one of these people in the video, that's true, as they get thrown in concentration camps and cages. This video is being released from the official White House rapid response account. So I'm showing you, this is what posted on the White House account.
Sotomayor.
Easy!
Yeah, so that's the video that the White House is showing, how these people who were not given due process, people who had court hearings saying that they were not part of these gangs. And now look, they could be lying. They could be part of the gangs. And if they're part of the gangs and they're tried, they're convicted, we have laws in the United States to deal with this. We don't pick up people, throw them on airplanes, put them in cages, and send them to El Salvador. That's just not what our system is. You may not like that. We have prisons here where the incarceration rate in America is high. One of the only places where the incarceration rate is higher is El Salvador. About 1,700 or 1,800 people out of every 100,000 are in one of those concentration camps or prisons in El Salvador, like you just saw right there. But America, America, Donald Trump, you said you're going to fix all of these things. So fix the prison systems and you can deal with it. And you said you're going to stop the border, people from getting in, and shut it down. So you should be able to deal with this without taking people claiming that there are wars that don't exist with Venezuela and then throwing people into El Salvador concentration camps. I wanted to provide you with all of that data. You can decide for yourself. But to me, I side with what the Supreme Court said. Give people due process. If they are convicted, throw the book at them. But none of these phony war powers where any person could get picked up and thrown into an El Salvador concentration camp based on Trump declaring a war exists right now. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
You know, it's amazing. Trump reaches all the way back to like early America, the Alien Enemies Act from 1798 to justify skipping around due process. Okay? And the way he rushed these people out and, you know, hurrying it up so that way the judicial system couldn't respond quick enough. By the time they did, it was like, oh, too late, they're already gone. Okay. I mean, you see how he fucking deals with shit? It's everything is not above board. It's all, you know, done haphazardly and against the rules. You know, and he hurried these people out of there. And what gets me is that the people that were escorting, you know, these criminals, okay, they're all wearing masks, which tells me they knew that this was going to be recorded and used as some sort of propaganda later on. They just didn't want their faces to be recognized by anybody. That's why they were all wearing fucking masks. Because if this was a legitimate roundup of people, right, why would they have to hide their identity? You see what I'm saying? ICE constantly goes out and rounds people up to deport them. Do they wear masks? No. But these folks in this video were, and it made it look very creepy. Okay? It looked like, you know, these people were the brown shirts of, you know, of the Nazi era in Germany. They didn't want their identities to be revealed because, hey, they know that they're doing something that's not kosher, that's against the rules, that's against the law. That's why they wanted their faces covered. But they also knew there was going to be film or people recording this to make a big propaganda commercial there for Trump. And so they didn't want to be in it. But, of course, all these people, they made them look bad. You know, they got them all shackled up and everything. Okay, they're shaving their heads and all that. I mean, they make these people look dehumanized. So that way people will say, yeah, good, get these. And yet, not a single person had a chance to prove their case, whether or not they were criminals. Okay? That's why I'm saying alleged. Because we don't know for a fact that any of these people were criminals. We don't know that. Okay? We're just taking Trump's word for it, and people by now, you ought to know better than to listen to that motherfucker. Okay? He lies about everything. So these people could have been just regular folk who didn't have you know, green card or whatever the hell, you know, to be living in this country, and they just rounded them up to deport them. Simple as that. Okay? And they made up an excuse, well, these people were criminals. You know, this is a wartime, whatever the hell he labeled it as, okay? Just to justify, okay, what he did. That's what this was all about. All right? These people probably weren't even criminals. They probably were just, you know, law-abiding folk living in this country. But, you know, the people we took in Al-Qaeda that we sent to Guantanamo were treated with a little more lawfulness than this, okay? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we didn't do shit like that. I mean, yeah, we waterboarded and stuff like that, but you know what? These people had due process, okay? Some of these folks were able to leave Guantanamo because they proved that they weren't who they thought they were, all right? Mistakes were made, and some of these people were able to leave. So we gave them a little more benefit of the doubt than Trump is giving anyone that we're seeing rounded up here. So we have no reason to believe that any of those people are criminals unless we see the fucking proof. Okay? And we're not going to see the proof any more than we're going to see the list of names of who was hanging around with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? That's what we're not going to see here. So, like I said, it was troubling to see that happen, but it's not unexpected, and people need to realize that when Trump says, you know, he's going to do something, he ain't joking, he's going to do it. So there's no reason to think that he's faking anything. And then the idea that Caroline, whatever her name is here, the press secretary, says, oh, the judge's got no right to block that order to go. You know, fuck that. You know, we got 3 branches of government here in this country, and they all work together equally. Okay, the president isn't the be-all, end-all of the fucking law. Okay, Jesus. If a federal judge, orders that Trump stop what he's doing, hey, he can argue his fucking case in court and continue what he's doing if he's legitimately getting rid of criminals. But if he's not, and he doesn't want to get caught, of course he's going to ignore the judge. Of course he's going to want to ignore the judge, because that shows that, yeah, maybe some of these people were not criminals and he's just rounding these people up for show. Okay? Just to make himself look like, oh, I'm the king, I can kick people's ass. Okay? That's what I'm saying, is that, the whole thing was intended to be recorded. That's the reason why they had this great big room, and they had the buses, and they had all these people and shaving their heads and shackled up and put in cages. It was all for the cameras that were there. All right. They normally wouldn't do that, but in this case, they did it because Trump wanted it that way. Remember, he fucking reality show guy. All right. So, like I said, I don't know what the ACLU is going to do. I mean, like I said, it's kind of late. I mean, after the fact, you're not going to be able to get these people back so they can stand and prove their case. And if you think you can punish Trump for what he did, who is going to see that he gets punished? Because it seems like nothing the court ever says to him matters. Okay? He doesn't care what the courts say. The judge might as well be talking to a fucking wall. Okay? And since we don't have people that have balls enough to actually enforce what the judge says, it's just words on paper. And I think Trump understands that, and that's the reason why he's doing what he's done, is because in his mind he doesn't care what a judge says to him or thinks about what he's doing. Okay, he doesn't care. To him, like I said, it's words on fucking paper, and that's all he cares about, is that he gets his way. Even if he has to ram through what he wants done, he gets it done. So the Supreme Court, the justices, the judges, you name it, it doesn't matter. No one's going to come after him, and he's daring the government to do it. He's daring everybody, if you're going to come and do it, see if, that's what he's doing. But people, I'm not seeing that there's a lot of push here to end what he's doing, because a lot of things that he's done up to now would have ended the presidential careers of every president we've ever had before him. Okay, that's what would have happened. And the fact that this guy's in there and he's doing all these things, and nobody's rattling the sword, and the Democrats are huddling in a corner, okay, tells me that Trump sees this and he knows I can get away with this stuff. And when you sit there and you shiver in the fucking corner and you're afraid to do anything against him, he sees that. That means, you know what, I'm going to go even further. And how far are you going to let him go before you get off your ass and go off and go in there and do something? Okay, how long? How long are you going to fucking wait? At some point, you're going to have to put up your dukes and get in there and go round for round with Trump. You're going to have to. Okay, You're going to have to. I mean, he's daring us to do that, is what he's doing. He is daring Americans to stand against him. That's what he wants. He wants Americans to stand against him. Why? Because then he can go around and say, I'm the victim. People are coming after me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong. You know, that's what he wants. So you take that fucking mental defect out of the fucking White House so we can bring back some real real politicians, real sanity back in the White House to guide this country away from where we're at now. Okay? We have to pull ourselves away from this shit. Because the further we go down this road, it's going to be so much harder to get out. I mean, look what happened to Germany. In order for them to get out of the rut they were in, other countries had to bomb the shit out of that country in order to change what was. You know what I'm saying? In order to end Hitler, end the Nazi movement, the country had to be leveled. Is that what we want here? I mean, are we going to sit here and let this son of a bitch stay in the White House until one day the rest of the world rises up and bombs the hell out of the United States? Okay? In order to get rid of the fascist regime that's in the White House? Is that what you want? I mean, or would you rather try and do this yourself? Okay? Like I said, either way, it's going to be a rough fucking ticket to get rid of this guy and put an end to this shit that he's doing. Okay? It's going to be a rough fucking ride. And there's no easy way out of this. You can't go through this tunnel unscathed. All right? You can't. I'm sorry that it has to be that way. For a lot of you people, you thought you could live your life and end it without having to face this kind of thing. But you know what? Times change really fast. You know, in 20 years, a lot of things can be different. You know, and that's not a lifetime for a person. So, you know what? I mean, a lot of you people, especially in my father's generation, saw and recognized the problem as it was beginning, okay? And unfortunately, from what I understand, what I witnessed, I see that generation just kind of gave up and went into this mode in the 80s of just buy, and satiate their every whim, okay? And contributed nothing to society except unbridled greed. Okay? And so after a decade and a half of that, you know, yeah. Anyway, let's go to a commercial break and we'll come back.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Roxy Sugar, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Hello, Daniel Caldwell. This is the VA Crisis Response Hotline. We're calling to inform you that your emergency request for in-person counseling for PTSD has been denied. To stop fraud, waste, and abuse, these services will be replaced by VetCare AI, powered by Grok, an X company. President Trump and Doge Chairman Musk, thank you for your service and being part of our efforts to eliminate waste. Have a nice day. Press 1 to repeat this message. Press 2 to return to main menu. Press 3 to leave a message, and an AI operator will call you back if your problem is deemed unwasteful. Goodbye.
How's everybody doing? Is everybody doing okay? Good, because I'm not. I woke up to the realization that our entire country is just one unfunny episode of The Office. The leader of our country was up well past midnight, not thinking about everyday issues that affect the American people, but thinking about our former president, saying the pardons that sleepy Joe Biden gave to the unselect committee of political thugs and many others are hereby declared void, vacant, and of no further force or effect because of the fact that they were done by AutoPen. And why do I compare this to an episode of The Office?
I declare bankruptcy!
Now, even though Donald Trump is very well versed on how to actually declare bankruptcy, many, many times, he seems to be under the impression that a true social post is an official declaration. It's not. And he also seems to think that he can undo another president's pardons. He can't. Now, I know he thinks he found some legal loophole because it was signed in AutoPen, but it doesn't fucking matter. Like, just because he has an obsession with signing his own name, because it's probably the only thing he can spell or read. Look at that John Tiny Hancock. But it doesn't say anywhere that a president can't sign things with AutoPen, or by doing so makes it less official. And we all know this is part of your revenge tour, right? To go after the people who just tried holding you accountable for your crimes. But that's not how things work, Donald. If these are the things that are keeping you up at night, we're in trouble. And I am begging Melania to sleep with you. Honey, I know it's been, 15 plus years since you've shared a bed with that ogre. And who can blame you? But it's time to step up and be a patriot and put an end to this. In other news, it's St. Patrick's Day. Legend has it he got rid of all the snakes from Ireland. And I'm just sitting here hoping he makes his way over to the White House and, blesses us with some of that famous Irish luck. 'Cause I can't take this anymore. Every single day, Donald Trump shows us he doesn't care about the laws of the land. And Donald Trump has showed us many, many times that he thinks he is above the law. He's ignoring the federal court rulings as we speak. We're in a very dark place, America, and don't let my smile fool you. And for all you Trump supporters out there that claim to be patriots, because you stand for an anthem or, you wave a flag, and you guys enabling and allowing and cheering on what's happening right now is the most un-American thing you can possibly do. Because he's literally wiping his ass with our Constitution. Toilet paper's still expensive. Anyways, bye.
I can't get hard, not even with the blue pills. Will the salt trick work for me? All right, pay attention. If you're over 35 and not as firm as you should be, or if you're popping the champagne a little too early, I highly recommend the salt trick. In just 20 seconds, you can prepare this drink, and your anaconda will stand tall for hours, almost immediately. This homemade salt tonic has been used for years by Brahmin bull breeders in India to help them stay firm and mate with up to 20 females at once. But a few years ago, this trick fell into the hands of the adult film industry, and since then, this little secret has been used by adult actors instead of the little blue pill. That's because it works in just minutes, flushing out flaccid toxins from your body that make your buddy shrink and fail when it matters most. It may sound crazy, but this drink is 6 times more powerful than any pill from the pharmacy, and because it's natural, it has no side effects. And if you haven't heard about it yet, it's the company behind the little blue pill, starting with P, that censors anyone who talks about this cheap, homemade solution. That way, they continue raking in billions every year from the suffering of millions of men just like you. But I'm putting an end to that right now. I'm releasing the short video that shows how to prepare and use the salt trick. Back then, this video was sold for $47, or they would have taken it down immediately. But so you can start the year off right. I'm leaving this video free for the next 3 hours. In the video, it shows step by step how to prepare this 20-second trick today and leave your wife with limp legs tonight. Just click the button that's appearing somewhere in this video to watch. If a page opens, it means the video is still available, and this might be your only chance to toss the little blue pill in the trash and learn how to make this homemade, safe recipe that's 6 times more powerful than the pharmacy pill. But I should warn you, this video contains some pretty hot scenes, and it also shows an African green tonic used by tribes in North Africa to grow their tool to the point of outgrowing all their underwear. Do not use if you're already too big or satisfied with your size. And also how to eliminate the flaccid toxins that are sabotaging your hardness and shrinking your little guy like a turtle. Watch with headphones on. As I mentioned, the video is uncensored and shows exactly how this trick works to make your buddy rock hard. So click the link below and watch while it's still available.
Holy fuck.
Were you just checking out her ass?
No, I wasn't.
You know what? Fuck this.
Wait, babe, calm down. Oh my god. Mary! I am sorry!
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, now the second video here is from Kyle Kulinski, and he's talking about Trump, you know, initiating an attack on Yemen. He basically bombed Yemen in response to the Houthi terrorists that have been plaguing Israel as they try to defend the Palestinians against Israel's genocidal attacks. And so in order for him to bomb Yemen, to justify it, he had to lump the Houthi terrorists in with Al-Qaeda terrorists. You know, because back in, you know, after 9/11, you know, we had all these, you know, these rules and stuff, you know, made to go after terrorists around the world as in revenge for what happened. And that hasn't changed. Okay, those laws are still there, whatever you want to call them, those presidential acts. They're still there. And so now he's added the Houthi terrorists in that list of terrorists to go after. But it's not right. I mean Congress, you cannot declare war on Yemen without Congress, but Trump is doing it anyway. He sent the military in there, and they carpet bombed that fucking country. And so Kyle Kulinski is going to talk about that here. So let's go to that video here, and we'll discuss that on the other side.
All right, y'all, welcome to the show. And the thing I have to say today is the following. I am sick and tired of living through history. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. Forget it. Like, let's not do this anymore. So every story today is horrific. So we're going to start in just a second with Trump snapping and carpet bombing Yemen. We'll get into the specifics of that. We have Twitch's #1 streamer, their top streamer, basically has a boner over Trump's psychotic warmongering. We also have, now we have specific cases, specific stories of people that the Trump administration is torturing and deporting illegally. We have fascism is literally here. It's no longer theoretical. The Alien Enemies Act of 1798 was invoked by Trump. And then when a court stepped in and said, hey, dog, you actually can't do this, he was like, go ahead and try to stop me. So a lot to say about that. We have town halls are continuing to explode. Veterans are yelling at MAGA officials, telling them, you guys don't give a fuck about us. We have a new poll on Democrats, which shows that support for them is literally at a record low because they refuse to fight Trump. We have Elon Musk officially terminating Social Security for people who he claims are dead, but they're not actually dead. And we have Trump openly saying that CNN and MSNBC are illegal. So the fascism speed run is here, and I wish I had better news for you, but I don't. So everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel. That helps out massively and costs you absolutely nothing. And of course, much love to all of you who support this show on Patreon. It couldn't be done without you. And these are dark days, bro. These are dark days. There's no doubt about it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's start with this one. So Trump, the other day, comes out, chest-thumping moment, and he says the following. Today, I have ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military action against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against American and other ships, aircraft, and drones. Joe Biden's response was pathetically weak, so the unrestrained Houthis just kept going. It has been over a year since a U.S.-flagged commercial ship safely sailed through the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, or the Gulf of Aden. The last American warship to go through the Red Sea 4 months ago was attacked by the Houthis over a dozen times. Funded by Iran, the Houthi thugs have fired missiles at U.S. aircraft and targeted our troops and allies. These relentless assaults have cost the U.S. and world economy many billions of dollars, while at the same time putting innocent lives at risk. The Houthi attack on American vessels will not be tolerated. We will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective. And then he goes on, here's another part that's noteworthy in all caps. To all Houthi terrorists, your time is up, and your attacks must stop, starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before. Then he also warmongers with Iran in particular as well. So here he is saying, I'm going to bomb Yemen. And then he went and bombed Yemen. Now, the reports we have on the ground coming out of Yemen is that a minimum of 31 people have been killed. I've seen another number of 58. I've seen another number that has over 100 killed. According to some reports, he literally hit a medical center, a cancer center. They say that their women and children were also killed in this bombing attack, right? But look, bragging about bombing Yemen, again, let me remind you, this is a guy who half the time on the campaign trail called Kamala a warmonger, called Liz Cheney a warmonger, said all she wants to do is shoot people. That's all she wants to do is shoot people. What was Trump's position when it came to Yemen, literally in this campaign? Well, here, figure out.
I look at your policies, I see secure the borders, bring jobs back. I look at the Democrats and many Republicans, and it's foreign war and foreign expansion. That's right. What is that?
I think it's just a failed mentality. It's crazy. You can solve problems over a telephone. Instead, they start dropping bombs. I see recently they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that.
Do I need to play that again for you? Could he be any more clear in this clip? Look at Joe Biden. He's dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that. Why you do it? America first. America first. And then here he is. Now he's in the White House, chest thumping, saying, now I'm going to bomb Yemen. I want to bomb Yemen. I'm going to bomb Yemen all day long. How about if I bomb Yemen? So again, let me pose this to the people in MAGA. Which Trump do you support? Actually, you know what? Don't answer that because I know the answer to that. The ones who are truly in the cult would say, oh, I supported him when he said he wasn't going to bomb Yemen, and I support him when he says he is going to bomb Yemen. So in other words, you've just farmed out your brain to this malignant narcissist. That's what you've done. You've stopped thinking. You've stopped actually having a position on something. Whatever he says, I'm with. Even if it's totally contradictory, even if he changes his mind from 1 second to the next, never mind 1 year to the next. So, and the other thing is, guys, you need to understand what exactly is going on with Yemen, right? Here's what's going on with Yemen. They were witnessing, like the rest of the world was, an Israeli genocide in Gaza, where the IDF was massacring innocent civilians, including women and children, on a daily basis, starving all of Gaza. not allowing in food, fuel, medicine, doing a total blockade. You know, the death toll, according to some sources, is over 200,000 people, 90% of which are civilians. The low number is like 50,000, which is still just absolutely unconscionable. But to be clear, that low number is not accurate. It's definitely way higher than that. And so Yemen saw this, that their Muslim brothers and sisters in Gaza were getting starved. So they said, oh my God, nobody's doing anything. Let's try to blockade Israel to stop weapons and supplies from getting into the country in our attempt to help the innocent people of Gaza. That's why they did it. Nobody disputes that that's the reason why they did it. Usually what people do in the conversation is they bring up something totally unrelated about the domestic policies of the Houthis and how anti-gay they are and how backwards they are when it comes to social issues, which all of that is fair game in a broader conversation about the Houthis. But in the context of what's happening in this instance, the reason they're doing what they're doing, the reason they're seizing Israeli ships, the reason why they've gone after some U.S. ships is very simple. Hey, you got to stop doing a genocide in Gaza. Now, by the way, how do we know that that's factually true? Because when there was a temporary ceasefire, guess what? The Houthis stopped seizing ships. They stopped attacking ships. They saw there was a ceasefire, and they said, okay, this is our standard. If you want us to stop the genocide in Gaza, period. That's it. That's it. And they did it. But then, of course, the genocide in Gaza was back in full effect. And so they went back to what they were doing, right? So basically what Donald Trump is doing here is he's bombing Yemen for Israel. He's bombing the Houthis for Israel. Because again, if you want them to stop doing what they're doing to the ships, the answer is simple. Stop arming and funding Israel and tell them you have to stop doing a genocide in Gaza. That's it. That's all it would take, and they would stop doing what they're doing, right? But no, Trump would rather act as the further military arm, the proxy military arm of Israel. So that puts into spotlight this comment from Trump. Now, this is an older video, but it shows you his mindset when it comes to Israel and the Israel lobby. Watch this.
You know, the biggest change I've seen in Congress is Israel literally owned Congress. You understand that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And it was so powerful. It was so powerful. And today it's almost the opposite. You have between AOC and Omar and these people that hate Israel. They hate it with a passion. They're controlling Congress, and Israel is not a force in Congress anymore. It's just amazing. I've never seen such a change. And we're not talking about over a very long period of time, but I think you know exactly what I'm saying. They had such power. Israel had such power, and rightfully, over Congress, and now it doesn't. It's incredible.
Israel had such power, quote, and rightfully over Congress. That's what he said. Ladies and gentlemen, do you realize that he took hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors? Sheldon Adelson back when he was alive, and now Miriam Adelson today. Hundreds of millions of dollars went to both Trump, his affiliated PACs, and Republican groups. Hundreds of millions of dollars. And guess what? That explains why his policies are what they are vis-a-vis Israel. This isn't a tough one to figure out. It's actually very straightforward. Why did Trump say, hey, the Golan Heights, which is Syrian territory, I'm now declaring that Israel can legally annex it, and now it's part of Israel? Why did he do that? Because he took hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors. That's why he did that. Why did he move the embassy to Jerusalem? Because he took hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors. That's why he did that. Again, this isn't hard to figure out. This isn't difficult. And then now, the quid pro quo is what? Israel's going to annex the West Bank. They're going to annex Gaza. As Trump says, we're going to own Gaza. We're going to take Gaza. We're going to own Gaza. We're going to build some nice casinos, some hotels on the beach. It's going to be beautiful. They have beautiful weather over there. Beautiful. Now, Palestinians will not be able to return, but that's okay. It's going to be a nice place. It's going to be beautiful. This is all part and parcel of the money that he's getting from the Israel lobby. And now he also did this for Israel. If your main concern was, Houthis, you have to stop what you're doing, it's simple. Israel's got to stop the genocide, period. That's it. It's over. That's it. Have some sort of peace agreement, wrap it up, stop massacring innocent people, stop starving people to death, and you're good. But see, he doesn't actually care about that. He said Israel should rightfully own Congress. He took hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors, and he's their bitch. He's doing their bidding. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, guys. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, well, let's see. Because some people would say, well, he did this strong, tough guy, peace through strength action, right? So, hey, maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll get the Houthis to back down. Now, I already told you, we know how to get the Houthis to back down. All you have to do is stop the genocide, and that's it. Guess what? Abdul Malik al-Houthi, leader of Yemen's Houthi movement, has declared that both U.S. commercial and military ships will now be targeted and included in its naval blockade in response to ongoing U.S. attacks and support for Israel's Gaza blockade. In a speech today, he warned that the blockade on U.S. flagships will continue as long as U.S. attacks on Yemen persist. Al-Houthi reiterated that the only way to end the group's blockade in the Red Sea is for the U.S. to respect the Gaza ceasefire agreement and end its aggression on Gaza. In other words, his response was, oh, we're going to redouble our efforts. Go after your military ships and your commercial ships now. Suck my nuts. So it backfired 100%. And I haven't even mentioned, attacking Yemen is completely and utterly unconstitutional anyway. It's completely, the way it works in this country is Congress has to do a declaration of war in order for there to be a war, right? There's never been a declaration of war against the Houthis. Usually what happens is they try to find loopholes. And what they do is they say, oh, we're now declaring that the Houthis are a terrorist organization, and we did have a declaration of war against Al-Qaeda, a terrorist organization. Therefore, we're going to lump them together and say that the same war on terror justification, which was passed in the early 2000s, can be used for this, right? So yet again, another example number 5,312 of Donald Trump, even though he shit on George W. Bush and Dick Cheney 5,000 times on the campaign trail, doing exactly a Dick Cheney and George W. Bush move, a neocon move. Yeah, I'm going to do more war with zero statutory authority, zero approval from Congress, but it's okay because I lumped the Houthis in with Al-Qaeda, even though they're fucking mortal enemies. The Houthis are Shia, Al-Qaeda is fundamentalist Sunni. God damn it, man. We've lost the plot, but I got more for you. The warmongering continues. So I love how This didn't even make news. I swear this is like the only article I saw on this that came across my feed. The only fucking article. Israel strikes Syrian capital in warning to new leader. Strike targeting Palestinian group is first since interim president Ahmed al-Shara established control. Israel strikes Syrian capital in warning to new leader. How is this not bigger news? Israel damn near announced a few weeks ago, oh, we're just going to steal all of South Syria up to Damascus? Or we're just going to steal it. They already stole the Golan Heights. They saw that when Bashar al-Assad fell, oh, this is an opening for us. So they just took more territory, brazenly against international law, no question about it. And now they're striking the Syrian capital. Nobody even talks about it. If this was a U.S. enemy doing such things, oh my God, you'd never hear the end of it. We'd be talking about regime change. We'd be calling them a rogue nation. But since it's our ally, shh, everybody shut up, everybody shut up. And of course, what's Donald Trump doing at the same time? Send them more money, send them more weapons, allow them to use those 2,000-pound bombs, which are used to absolutely massacre civilians. God damn it, man. We also have this. Trump asks military for plans to take Panama Canal by force. Look, I said it before, I'll say it again. If you are in the military and you are asked, hey, you're going to Canada to try to make them the 51st state. You're going to Greenland to try to steal that territory and get the minerals for the U.S. You're going to go to Venezuela to try to coup that government. You're going to go to Panama. You're going to go to Mexico to fight a war against the drug cartels. If the Trump administration tries to deploy U.S. troops to any of these places, you should resign in protest. You should be a conscientious objector. The idea that Trump is asking for military plans to take Panama by force. I told you guys, he's rolling the clock back to 1800 style imperialism. He's serious. He means all of it. Even when it comes to Canada, people go, well, he's largely joking or whatever. But then he just said it a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time, and a fifth time, and a sixth time, and a seventh time. And it became very clear. No, he means it. He means it. And everybody's just acting like this is normal. Like, it's just Trump being Trump. This is psychotic warmongering. This is imperialism. This is colonialism. It has never been more clear. You're living through history, and they're literally drafting up the plans to take Panama right now. I'm telling you, man, bodies in the streets. That's the only way. That's the only way to stop this. I also have this for you. Ready? Little throwback to the Nazi era here for you. The U.S. and Israeli regimes want to ethnically cleanse Palestinians from Gaza and expel them to Africa. They're trying to force Sudan and Somalia to take them. I believe also Somaliland. In other words, the U.S. empire was borrowing the Nazi regime's Madagascar plan for Palestine. So the Madagascar plan, that was when the Nazis said, bro, we got to get rid of these Jews, bro. How do we get rid of these Jews? I don't know, but give them like Madagascar or something, ship them all over there, ethnically cleanse Germany, the Jews, and send them over there. And now you have Israel and the U.S. applying diplomatic pressure to Sudan, Somalia, Somaliland, and say, hey, we're going to send you guys the Palestinians. You guys will deal with it, right? Maybe we'll give you a little subsidy. We'll send you some weapons. We'll give you some perks. But when we ethnically cleanse Palestine, we can force them on you and it'll be good, right? We'll be chilling. I said it at the top of the show, bro. I am sick and tired of living through history. Like, one of these stories would have been enough to sink a previous president. One of these stories. But what they're doing is the Steve Bannon plan. They throw 100 insane things at you per day and expect you to get lost in the noise and not be able to respond effectively to any of them. Well, we can't be like that. We got to respond effectively to every single one of them. Again, now's the time to rise up. Now's the time to get body in the streets. Now's the time to protest. Now's the time when solidarity is the most important. Still not done. Here we go. Ready? This goes to show you how colossally full of shit this guy is, how much of a liar he is, how unhinged he is. Here he's going to claim, bro, when I said I would end war on day one, end the Ukraine war on day one, I was just like being sarcastic, bro. You decide for yourself, because we got the clip spliced in there. Here we go.
You said you would have this war settled in 24 hours.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic when I said that. I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours. Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic when I said that.
Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic when I said that.
I'll end that war between those two countries in 24 hours. It won't even take that long.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic when I said that.
I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic when I said that.
It can be negotiated, I think, within 24 hours. Guarantee that this war will end immediately.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic when I said that.
I will have it solved in 24 hours with Zelensky and with Putin. And there's a very easy negotiation to take place, but I don't want to tell you what it is because then I can't use that negotiation. It'll never work.
Do I even need to say anything else, man? Do I even need to say everything else? Anything else? Look, when it comes to this guy, literally on every single front, he's been objectively worse than the worst case scenario. Objectively worse than the worst case scenario. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. This stuff is unconscionable. And anybody of conscience and morality, now's the time to fight back. Now's the time to get in the streets. Now's the time to say, in no way, shape, or form will we work with you in any way. Because this is so far beyond the pale that it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, we could solve the problem with a phone call, not dropping bombs. That was what Trump said, huh? Solve the problem with a phone call. Did he make a phone call? No. And of course, yeah, like Kyle says, you think MAGA's going to say, well, wait a minute, that's not what you said. We didn't support that. But of course, their minds, it's like 1984. What was one thing yesterday, now that's gone, and now it's this new thing today, and that's what's the truth, okay? So he's got MAGA's brain. He holds on to their brains. He can erase them. He can rewrite them. These people are just sheep. That's all MAGA is just a bunch of sheep. If he tells them to get mad at something, they get mad at it. Never ask why. What I mean, to have loyalists like that is a dream for a lot of dictators. Okay, you can't even get that kind of loyalty in Russia with Putin. But over here, Jesus, these MAGA people are willing to sell their souls to the devil for that cocksucker. Jesus. That's what gets me is, why is Trump getting so much support from people that are like that, but yet Putin basically, he's under fire over there right now. Okay, Ukraine just sent a shitload of missiles and drones into that country here just the other day, and hit major areas of around Moscow and down further south. Okay, Ukraine really kicking ass over there. And the Russian people are getting pissed at Putin for not trying to bring a quick end to this shit, So, yeah, it's, the people in America, that have been shit on so far, by Trump. They are simply, you know, they're getting out on the streets, they're protesting, the veterans are getting mad, okay? You don't want to get veterans too angry, Donald Trump, because these people will be the first to take care of a problem in a quick way, okay? We were trained that way, okay? When there's a problem, you know, if there's a hill that you got to take, you take that fucking hill any way you can. And when there's a problem in front of us, okay, we're like bulldozers. All right, you know what I'm saying? We do, if we got to do it the hard way, then the hard way is what we're going to do. You know, that's veterans for you. So you don't want to get these people too riled up against you, but you know, like I said, you know, we've already had incidents around the country here where veterans have, you know, flipped out over less and you know, blood on the streets. Okay, so you know, him getting these people mad is not a smart thing to do. But yeah, I mean, these people, the Houthi, they were, you know, trying to stop Israel from getting supplies and weapons to continue their genocide in the Gaza Strip, okay? And when they had a ceasefire, the Houthi stopped, you know, their terrorist activities. And so by that, we've figured out that, you know what, I mean, if you can stop if the Israel people want the Houthi to just go away, all you got to do is stop your fucking war in Gaza, you know. But you see, you got a man over there like Donald Trump, and I'm talking about Netanyahu. You got a guy over there just like Trump who is doing everything he can to get his way. And if it means running over babies and women and children and whatever, okay, and destroying hospitals and schools, if it means that, he doesn't care. That's just collateral damage to him. He doesn't care. All he cares about is getting that piece of land over there. That's it. You know, a man with the idea in mind that he's going to eradicate a whole group of people because, you know, they're all bad, that's no better than Hitler, okay? Netanyahu has proven himself to be a Jewish Hitler, okay? So you see, you know, even the people who suffered under the Holocaust and stuff like that, they're not immune to having, you know, imperialistic, nationalist, you know, dictators infiltrate their land, okay? And this is what happens when you spend your existence feeding off hate, okay? This is what happens. After a while, the hate manifests itself into something viral, into something nasty. And it becomes Netanyahu and Donald Trump, okay? That's what happens. And now that the ceasefire is done and they're back at it again, you know, the Houthis said, okay, you know what? We're gonna not only go after the military assets and stuff like that, we're gonna actually go after the commercial assets too. You know, we're gonna attack everything. Okay, we're gonna make it so fucking bad that you guys, you're just gonna have a hell of a time trying to stop us. You know. Now I'm not trying to say that, you know, terrorism is a good thing. Okay, it ain't, because in terrorist activities, people get killed that shouldn't be killed. You know, innocent people. And when you got people that are that invested in stopping something, I think that means you're doing something that you've gone too far with. Okay? That maybe these people might be interested in maybe stopping what they're doing if you stop what you're doing. Okay? I mean, isn't that kind of the first step you people try to get to take, you know, so that way they can sit down and hammer out an agreement or a deal or something like that to get both sides to stop the fighting, so that way we can talk. And like I said, they already proved that, you know, when they had the ceasefire, that Houthi would stop what they were doing. So we know that if they stop, they'll stop, and then both sides can come to the fucking table and work something out. Okay? And you know, Congress, you know, for Trump to do what he was doing here by bomb in Yemen. Like I said, you know, he can't be doing that because you got to have Congress, you know, give a permission for that, to declare war on that, and it's just it's ridiculous, you know, that he's twice in both these videos that I played, twice he's ignored the rules here in order to do what he wants. Okay, and MAGA may sit back and think that's great. Okay, but that's only because they're not really looking at this problem in any real depth here. Okay, they're only looking at this at, you know, in a two-dimensional way, what's on the surface, and they're also taking a lot of things that Trump says as for granted, that he's telling them the truth, which is the dumbest thing anybody can do at this point. He's a liar, and so my fucking rule of life is that when somebody lies to you just once, you don't have any reason or any pressure to ever believe what they say ever again. Okay? You lie to me once, that's it. I'm always going to remember you lied to me, and that's always going to mean I'll have doubt about anything you tell me. That's the way people should be. Okay? That's the way it should be for everybody. Trump's lied to us so many fucking times, there's no reason why I should ever believe what he says. You can't make me believe what he says. I'm sorry. I don't care if he does tell the truth one day. I'm still not going to believe it because he's lied so goddamn much that only a fool would fucking believe anything that he says. Okay? Those people that do, like MAGA, that still think that what Trump says is factual, okay, like I said, they're part of the cult. They're part of the zombie right wing. These people will follow Trump off a cliff if he told them there was a bridge there waiting for him. Okay? They would just do that. You know? And so I stopped talking to MAGA online. Okay? I don't debate them. I can spot who they are right off the bat. Okay? Everybody gets blocked. If you come at me with your MAGA talking points, instant block. Not going to listen to you. Okay, because I know you're full of shit. You're just regurgitating lies from Fox News and from Trump himself. And I'm not going to argue with people that are making up facts. I'm just not going to do it. So that's what I do. That's how I deal with it. And for those of you out there that are online and debating MAGA people, stop. Just stop, okay? They'll never, ever, ever give in to you. And if they ever fall on hard times because of what Trump's doing, they will never admit it to you. They won't ever admit it to you. So let them be. Just shut them down. The minute if you post something on there and somebody comes in with this stupid attitude, block right off the bat. Don't even give them enough airtime to say a fucking word. Just block them. Okay, when these people get blocked all over the fucking place and all they got is each other to stroke to, okay, it's not going to be any fun for them anymore. And they're not going to feel like arguing with anybody because the only people they got are the same folks that are echoing back the same shit they're saying. Okay, that's what you do at MAGA. You just shut them off. Lock them in a closet and throw away the key. That's how I deal with these people now. And, it was funny how Trump had said, oh, Israel had such power over Congress, at one time, and rightfully. And of course, Kyle says, well, he was getting hundreds of millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors. Okay, they paid him to say that. Okay, they paid him for that. And not that I would say that that's not possible, that Israel did have power over Congress, but it certainly wasn't rightful to be able to do that, okay? No other country should have any authority over our own government here, okay? If they got concerns, they can air their concerns like everybody else does. But to come into our country and buy our politicians, okay, to get them to side with them, no. That should be illegal as hell. It probably is, but I'm just saying they shouldn't be allowed to do that. And if anyone was ever caught doing that, they should be primaried, kicked out of office, or whatever. We should not be allowing other countries to direct the helm of our fucking ship here. Okay, I'm sorry. We're going in a direction, or we were anyway, that didn't involve them. And so we shouldn't be a proxy for other people's woes. Okay. There's this headline that I found, and you guys can look this up on your own, but Republican senators in Minnesota propose a bill to classify Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness. Yeah. You know, and I just find it funny that, you know, they're doing, you know, hey, look, if Trump's going to play silly games like this, then why can't everybody else, right? You know, if he wants to come out and say nasty shit, then I think Democrats and Republicans around the country ought to counter that with some of their own craziness and silliness, just to piss off Trump. And so, you know, hey, you start something, you know, if you can't take it, don't give it. You know, if you know, it's just how it is. You know, Trump likes to dish it out, but not enough people are giving back, you know. So we need more of that. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Subscribe, comment, share. Keep your ears open for health-related issues. And treat each other well out there. Be neighborly and take an interest in how other people are doing. And I'll talk to you guys later, so take care, everybody.